Who is the devil? Who is Satan? These are the questions that I will go through in this video. Satan or the devil is two concepts that points towards the same. The names in themselves tend to create fear in the human being. And that is the purpose of the devil. But there is a great misunderstanding about the devil. The devil is not an entity. The devil is not some sort of being. The devil is simply ignorance. Ignorance in the human mind. Ignorance about our true nature. And when the human being are ignorant about its own true nature, that human being feels like it is a separate entity. That creates division, separation, fragmentation. And that leads to devilish actions. And what is devilish actions? That is actions that creates suffering, pain, misery, death. And as long as the human being is ignorant about its own true nature, as long as that is the case, one could say that the devil is successful. One could say that it is actually Satan that rules the world. The human being is fragmented, confused, and all of that confusion that leads to more confusion. The confusion resides in the human mind. We could say that as long as the human being is ignorant about his own true nature, the human being is sleepwalking. It's the dream state. Or should we call it the nightmare state? Heaven is spread upon earth, but man do not recognize it. You are a miracle, but do you recognize it? You are surrounded by miracles, but do you recognize it? Why do you not recognize it? Another aspect about the ignorance has to do with the belief that the devil or Satan is some kind of physical entity. In so doing, the devil has separated itself from the human being. And then the human being is seeing all the evil outside itself. But the only evil that is the failure to recognize one's own true existence, one's own true nature. When confronted with a message like this, most human beings will react with denial. That is the denial of ignorance. We actually only have to wake up out of this dream state, this nightmare state, and recognize our true essence as the entire existence manifested at this particular moment as this. When we recognize that, we simultaneously recognize that there are no separation, that there are no fragmentation, that everything is one indivisible whole, that nothing really comes into existence and disappears again out of existence, but that everything is one continuously dance of forms, when we recognize that, Satan evaporates, the devil evaporates. As long as the human being fails to recognize its own true nature, the human being feels a sense of lack. And that is because of the idea about separation. Then there is a sense of lack. And then the human mind search for something to make that feeling of lack go away. And the human being starts searching in the material world. Pursuing, worshipping material goods, hoping that they somehow will be able to fill that hole within. It is actually quite funny that the word the whole, W-H-O-L-E, the whole, is almost the same, and it is certainly pronounced in the same way as the whole within, H-O-L-E. That is a funny paradox of the word, of the words of the language. So the human being are trying to fill this hole within, H-O-L-E, with material possessions. And if that is not enough, then with power, trying to gain power over others, wanting to rule over others, trying to fill the hole. That is the devil at work. Quiet down the mind. And observe it. Just simply observe it. Watch it. Watch it and see if you can recognize that it is almost as if it has its own life. running in all different kinds of directions. Don't do anything about it. Just watch it. Who is watching? What is watching? The mind. You are watching. You are watching the mind, the movement of the mind. You are able to watch the movement of the mind, which tells you that you are not the mind. You are the watching itself. A silent, intelligent space. There are no conflict within that space. There are no problems. There are no births, no death. That recognition is awakening. That recognition is love. That recognition is healing. That recognition is mending what was seemingly broken. That recognition is the end of ignorance. The end of the devil. The end of Satan. No battle. No struggling. Peaceful. The devil cannot exist within that peace, within wholeness, for the devil is the fragmentation in the human mind. Watch your mind. Just watch it. Don't do anything. Notice what is going on. Notice the stream of thinking. Notice how the very noticing of the mind has a tendency to quiet it down. And the reason for that is that as long as you are observing the mind, you are not lost within the mind. Who is watching the mind? You are. That recognition is awakening and the end of ignorance.